This is Pete Winters with Five Fish Lures, and I'm down here at Extreme Outdoors today in Branson West behind Ulrich Marine. What we're going to talk about a little bit today is about Five Fish Lures, kind of the history, how we got started, and then we're going to talk about some of the product. But myself, I'm a full-time fishing guide, local tournament angler, and one of my partners, Brian Snowden's Bassmaster Elite Angler, and then Bobby Albert's a regional tournament fisherman. And the three of us kind of put our heads together. For years, Brian and I have been making our own jigs, and over the years, people have wanted some of them. And Bobby, kind of the same thing. He had a little jig that was partial to him. So we put together Five Fish Lures. But one of our main goals was not so much about making a lot of jigs or, having the cheapest jig out there. We wanted the best. So the quality was kind of our #1 goal. And anybody that knows Brian Snowden knows how particular he is. So before we sent anything to production, everything has to be just right. But all our baits are manufactured here in Missouri and Arkansas. Now, some of the products, as far as the skirts and the hooks that we use, come from overseas. But everything's made right here in the USA. And we're real particular about having, no paint in the eyelets of the jig. The weed guard's always in the same position. And that was our main goal, to build the best jig, the best product. So kind of our motto is, our Five Fish Lures are built by the fishermen, for the fishermen. Now we have got shaky heads, finesse jigs, cover jigs, and Net Jigs. The first thing I'm going to talk about is our ultimate Net Jig. Put my glasses on here so I can see. But we've got it in 4 different sizes. We got it in 1/16, 1/8, 3/16, and 1/4. Originally, we designed this, just for Ned rig baits. But after fishing it, we found it's pretty versatile bait for a lot of different lures. One deal that's pretty slick is, during the spawn right now, is you can take and whack. I take the 1/16 ounce, put an O-rig on like a Yamamoto Senko or any kind of stick type worm. And it really works good for if you're flipping with like 14 or 16 pound line with a bait caster. It gives you just enough weight to where you can present the bait into the bushes, around the docks, and underneath them. Another way we'll use like little beaver style baits. A lot of times you really got to slow down to get bites and downsize. I'll use it on the little swim baits as well. Little 3-inch, 2.5, 3-inch swim baits. Another deal we really found it handy for is I like to crappie fish when I'm not guiding for bass. It's a really good crappie head. This one I've got stuck inside of a crappie tube. So, it's not just for a Ned rig. It's become a pretty big arsenal in my tackle box as far as with different baits. Now, what we've got here is a jig that Bobby had pretty much designed, and then Brian and I worked on it some as well, but it's the ultimate finesse jig. And a lot of the reason we call it a finesse jig, it's not something that you throw literally on 6 or 8 pound line, but it's got a short skirt on it, what we call a half skirt. It has a little bit softer weed guard than our heavy cover jig. And this enables you, to fish 10 or 12 pound line if you choose. And a lot of them subtle bites, you don't have to, set the hook as hard. But the head design is, real similar to our Ned rig head. It's got a mustad 4-aught cross-eye hook, 60-degree cross-eye hook in it. And you'll notice down here it's got a double barb deal to hold your keeper on. And this is a little crocagator ring craw that I'm going to put on here. But you'll notice it holds the bait. I mean, that bait's not going anywhere on there. Now, a lot of things we try to key on when we're making these products, when we're practicing with them and fishing with them, is we want the baits to set up like this. And why that's so important is, and we pay real close attention that when we're fishing with them as far as where we hook the fish. If you've got a bait that's rolling over, fish picks it up and gets it in his mouth, you don't have as good a chance of getting the hook set in the side of his mouth as you do the roof roof of the mouth. And with the head design, it comes through the rock and the brush really well. It's probably one of my favorite jigs for flipping boat docks. It's a really good combination for rock and brush. Now we've got this available in 3 different sizes, a 5/16, 7/16, and 9/16 to cover any application of fishing that you're going to be doing, and it's also available in 8 different colors. Now this is our ultimate cover jig, and I mentioned earlier on the Finesse Jig the weed guard was a little softer. Well, this one's a little stiffer. This is for, you know, fishing a lot heavier brush, flipping into buckbrush, into willows. But a couple other unique designs about it. It's got a flat head. So if you like to skip underneath walkways, under docks, you can usually get 5 or 6 skips out of the bait. And for a keeper, this is real similar to what we have on our ultimate Net Jig heads. It holds the trailer on there real well. It's got a custom hook in it. And this bait here is available in 8 different colors, like the Finesse Jig, and 3 different sizes. What we've got here is a Magnum shaky head. You know, we've designed this bait a lot for offshore fishing, like Kentucky Lake, where you got a lot of ledges, Lake of the Ozarks, Truman, Table Rock, you know, fishing deeper brush piles. You know, anytime you want to throw a big bait, like I've got a Zoom Magnum trick worm on here. If you want to throw like a 10-inch old monster, it's a really great bait. Magnum lizards will work real well. Now, the head design, we fished these for about 1.5 years before we actually put it into production, but it does an awesome job of coming through the cover. You know, football jigs or football style heads, let's face it, they do not come through brush and cover real well. So we've designed this, and it doesn't matter whose head it is, but this got a little taper on it where it'll come through the brush and the rocks. It'll stand up as you're hopping it along. It's got a 6/0 hook in it, nice big old meat hook. One thing that I was really adamant about was on the shaky head was on the spring. I wanted a wire coming out of the center just like that instead of just the spring. For the reason being, how many times you pick up that worm, it's real oily and slimy, and you can't get it started on the dang thing. Well, with that single wire coming out the middle, it just pokes right in the worm and you feed it on there. But it's really a multi-purpose bait as far as you can use rage craws on it, like I said, big lizards, a little bit of everything on it. One other shaky head that we have molds being made for it now, but you know, and also, I'm sorry, this one here we have available in 3 different sizes. A 1/2 ounce, 5/8, and a 3/4. Now we've had quite a demand for a little bit more of a finesse style, and this one we're going to have in 3 different sizes: 5/16, 1/4 ounce, and 3/8. And it's got a little 5-wire fine wire hook for you know, light line or lighter line and smaller baits. Any of our product, you know, we're down here at Extreme Outdoors today. They carry a complete line of all our product. If you're not in the area, you go to fivefishlures.com and you can find the nearest tackle store closest to you. If there's not one closer to you, we have an online store. So check us out at fivefishlures.com.